What's good, YouTube, man? We back with another video, man. We back with Sasuke JINRAIDEN, man. Another Sasuke novel, man. Y'all probably ain't, if you ain't read, man, catch up. And if you been waiting, man, we back at it, man. Let's get it. Ready for hold up. In almost wholly erased characters of the threaded banner, a name could be read, Hypercurium Shrine. I could tell from the moon position that it was almost midnight. I went back to the shrine. I hadn't noticed at first, but a stone monument had been erected near the small shrine. The word worship was engraved alongside it with the shapes of two creatures that were facing each other. One was clearly a wolf, while you could tell that the other one, who had his snout completely erased, was a tiger. Thanks to the stripes on his body, they were both extremely worn out. The word seal was written on the wolf's back, and it seemed that there was something written even on the tiger's back, but reading it was impossible. Maybe it was meant to stand for the Kodan clan, fighting against Rowan, but it was neither particularly beautiful nor original. What a foolish thing. I broke through the door of the small shrine with a kick and I went inside. The moonlight was spreading through the shabby floorboards. I laid on the ground and crossed my arms behind my head and raised my eyes up to the crescent moon that shined beyond the torn roof. A couple of fireflies floated lightly in the air. No, it was impossible for them to be fireflies. I hadn't paid attention to it, but we were already in autumn, and that meant that the season for fireflies had ended long ago. However, some insects that radiated a green light had came twirling in the shrine, only to fly away the second after. I sensed the threat and I jumped up with a jolt. When I turned around, I discovered that it was a small white snake slithered out of one of the cracks on the wall. Slightly nervous, I laid on the ground again. If you want to kill me, hate me, detest me, you have to survive like a wrench. Keep running and cling to life. I had swallowed Itachi's words. I hadn't been able to understand how much suffering hid in them. I felt a pain in my chest, so hard that I was being eaten up alive. Remember, Sasuke, our goals aren't incompatible. We already are beyond justice, and this illusion will not affect us anymore. And still, I persisted and wanted to accept what Madara had told me. Careful, Sasuke. Don't let yourself be confused by words and pay attention to not lose sight of the reality they hide. I told myself. A new threatening presence powerfully dragged me out of the light sleep. It wasn't the snake this time. Beyond the opening of the door, the moon had disappeared. In its place, I saw three shadows passing through the night sky. I counted to 3, and I raised both my legs. Pushing myself up from the floor with a thrust of my shoulders, I leapt up and jumped outside through the opening on the roof I hid. The chill of the dawn completely woke up my cells, and they were still asleep. I gave a swift glance to the scene, and I saw the three shadows jumping on the tree branches, whirling in the sky, just like shooting stars, disappearing behind the back of the small shrine. The wind suddenly rose, prompting the bench of the garden to swing wildly around. The clouds were running quickly and the stars were emitting a cold light. I saw a lightning flash by. The moment after, a deafening noise shook the night sky. Boom! Another one followed. Boom! I immediately leapt from the shrine's roof and I dashed toward the place of the explosion. I jumped down the stairway, but before I could land, I heard someone screaming. Immediately after, I saw high flames coming from the Hypercurium Shrine. The fire had already enveloped the gate and nourished by the wind. It was quickly moving towards the main building. I got up again with a jump. From above, I managed to sight 2 silhouettes that were running back and forth in the garden. They were filling a bucket with water and were trying to put out the fire. However, it looked like the fire was mocking them, and they kept twirling in the air, and if nothing could stop his dance. Anger overwhelmed me. I felt like Itachi's memory had been desecrated. When I became aware of it, my hands were already discharging energy. From the corner of my eye, I detected the three shadows the three shadows towards the north. Chidori! I hurled my technique to the garden's ground. My Chidori uplifted the ground with a powerful burst of wind. It wiped the flames away in one shot. From the gate to the main building, not only the fire was swept away, the two people that were trying to put out the fire were assailed by the air and steam and hurled against the wall. From first to last, the windows of the main building broke in thousands of pieces, and the gate fell violently on the ground. The garden was covered in black smoke and dust. Hit by Chidori, the ground had noticeably collapsed. I felt the threatening presence behind my back. I turned around and I managed to avoid an attack. Do you belong to the Sendo clan, too? Among the fireflies that were fluttering in the confusion, a bare-chested boy was holding a kunai in his hand. He was wearing his hair straight upward, and he was staring intently in front of him. There was something in the past Naruto in him. At the back of his head, he wore a mask. You come in to steal the Koroto? That's what I'm going to say, y'all. Kotori. I'm going to say Koroto. Saying that he poorly threw the corner against me, even in that blow, straight and monotonous, as if he didn't know other blows. I could see the past Naruto. Oh, basically, he see this little kid and didn't mind him with Naruto. Take in mind, y'all, this is right after Itachi died, so Naruto's still in the back of this nigga mind. He didn't even scratch me. Damn it. Why don't you run for your life? It wasn't me who set the fire. I only put out the flames, I said. Liar! The boy gathered his energies on his lips, and he hurled himself at me to tear my guts apart. You'll never know where the Kotaro is, he shouted. I avoided his attacks, dashed towards him, and poked the rage-filled forehead with my fingers. Ouch! I told you it wasn't me. I reiterated. He jumped backwards, vigorously rubbing his forehead. He kept glaring angrily at me. Once again, he was identical to that moron. We heard a voice coming from nearby. That's enough, Kenya. He has nothing to do with the Sendo clan. A young man with long hair, tied in a ponytail, and yellow kimono appeared. How do you know? I'll get him and make him spit out the truth, shouted the boy named Kenya. Didn't you see the crest on his back? Crest? Yes, the Uchiha clans. Really? Then you must be Itachi's younger brother, said Kenya, writing in his eyes. The long-haired young man turned to me. Please forgive my brother's impatience. My name is Riichi. I'm the owner of the Hypercurium Shrine. I stared at him intently. Then I asked, you know Itachi? It's natural in the past few years he had been our only honest customer, he answered. After we passed an intensive night tidying up the place, Kenya had made some breakfast. He was still wearing a mask on the back of his head, on the back of his head, but now he was wearing a blue working outfit. When he noticed I was watching him, he told me, are you looking at this? It was a memento from my father. It was a hawk-shaped mask. What's up? Nothing. I just have a feeling that I've already seen it somewhere, I answered, diverting my eyes from it. Where? I stared at the mask again. There was no doubt. It wasn't the first time I had looked at it. The thick mist that enfolded my mind, however, prevented me from remembering where. I answered in only the possible way, maybe if it's just my imagination. What is it? A long time ago, this mask was worn by an Anbu in our village. It's an original one. You know, this scratch of the upper part was caused by a shuriken. Marvelous, isn't it? Explained Kenya, strutting and prideful. Enough with the chattering. Come on, let's eat before the food becomes cold. Riichi interfered. They spell E-I-T. It's crazy y'all able to like distinguish that shit. They put IT. It's a fucked up book, y'all. The breakfast consisted in a dish of vegetables, some broth, and some onigiri. It was very simple, but it had really appetizing look. I turned away and said, I'm not hungry. We may sell drugs too, but don't assume we want to poison you. I glared at Rishi. Don't assume we want to poison you. I glared at Rishi. Don't underestimate me. Do you really think that I would accept food from a stranger just as if I was a stray dog? Yes, ninjas are like that. At that point, Kenya turned at me with a cold look. Don't eat then. I purposely cooked Itachi's favorite meal for you, but if you think I'm gonna poison you, you're not worth really worth really much as a ninja. You really don't have an eye for people. You've been lucky to get away with it up till now, he added, without paying any attention to Riishi's rather disturbed expression. I didn't say I won't eat. But you said you're not hungry, didn't you? You don't have to eat by force, he said, wincing. I'm not hungry, but eating when you don't have the chance to is a part of a ninja's duties. I answered, trying to prevent my stomach from rumbling. Still hungry at Sasuke always on the fuck. She always with the mind gymnastics. I gripped my chopsticks and began to eating greedily, and I left myself dumbfounded. I ate the vegetables, drank the broth, stopped and stared at the bowl. Itachi's favorite dish was simple, but I hadn't expected that it tasted so pleasantly. Riichi and Kenya watched the scene, exchanged a glance, and then burst out laughing. It's not so bad despite having been made by a brat, I said. I hadn't had a hot meal in a long time. Sitting on the wooden floor along the brazier, we all began eating. I'm guessing Orochimaru don't cook niggas soup and shit. Kenya stuffed his mouth with a onigiri. Seeing my stunned expression, he laughed, satisfied. Itachi loves seaweed onigiri. Are you fond of it too, he asked me. Oh, Kenya, that's no way to talk, Riichi scolded him. What did I say wrong? Trying not to let my turmoil leak out, I lowered my head and ate some onigiri. I like the ones with dried tuna in it the best. Riichi nodded in approval while Kenya burst out laughing again. I hadn't eaten such a hot meal in a really long time. Kneeling with his back straight, Riichi ate quietly, a deep sense of gratitude for what he had leaked out of his whole body, and it looked like he couldn't wish for anything more. Kenya instead was sitting with his legs crossed, and he was loudly drinking his broth. When his brother rebuked him, he drank even more loudly, mischievously. When will you understand, Kenya? People know who you are by observing your attitude, said Riichi. I don't give a damn about what the villagers think. Riichi looked at Kenya with a stern expression. Then he turned at me, smiling sheepishly. Please forgive his idleness. Okay. His insolence. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. I nodded. Do you like it, Itachi's brother? I cooked the seaweeds with my own hands, Kenya told me. Sasuke? My name is Sasuke. The origami is not bad. I drank the broth and ate the salted vegetables and took another onigiri. Kenya's caring behavior melted little by little my stiffened heart. I had cooked seaweed onigiri expressly for me. Those two brothers remind me of Itachi and myself. The younger one, the naive one, follows the elder every step, with the latter serving as well as a parent more than a brother. Damn, me see Itachi in this. Oh shit. This is why I started reading this book, y'all. This shit, hey. They invented a deep sense of safeness, aware of the fact that they're together, they would overcome any trouble. That's exactly why they didn't convince me. That's exactly why they didn't convince me. I don't get what he mean by that. I put my chopsticks down and I drew the wax paper bag out of my pocket. While I was heading here, I got myself this, I said. Suddenly, the atmosphere became tense. The friendly smile he was wearing the moment before vanished from Kenya's face. Now he was looking at me with an unfriendly expression, grit in his teeth. Riichi was staring motionlessly at the dishes before him. The drug dealer told me that this is the best kind of Habakurian illusionary medicine you can find. It seems to be Habakurian shrines I don't know how to say that shit. Kotaro. I added. Kenya threw his chopsticks away, got up, and snatched the bag from my hands in anger. After tossing it on the ground, he stomped it with force. This junk has nothing to do with Koroto. Do you want to seize the Hypercurial illusionary medicine as well? He shouted, kicking my dish away. Hurled against the wall, the plate and bowl broke. At that point, Rishi jumped in. That's enough, Kenya. Sasuke only came to take Itachi's medicines. I thought he was a good fellow, but at this point, it's possible that even Itachi made all his way here just to obtain the Koroto. After all, his medicine contained the substance too, continued Kenya, unable to restrain his rage. Itachi is not that kind of guy. You're too gentle, Rishi. That's why villagers mistreat you, Rishi assured a worried expression. Kenya took his fist toward me and said, "Oh, spit it out. You're too aiming for the Koroto, aren't you? Your brother told you come here and steal it, didn't he? Well, sorry for you. The Koroto came only to be reduced inside the Rishi's body, and it's impossible to seize it without taking my eyes off." Without taking my eyes off, Kenya? Okay. It's impossible to seize it without taking my eyes off, Kenya. I said, Itachi's dead. A deep silence fell. Kenya stood still with his fist still clenched, lightened by the morning light that entered from the window. Dust was floating in the air, gleaming. What a pitiful thing seeing those dishes scattered on the ground. Rishi was the only one who broke the silence. I'm sorry, Sasuke. Kenya didn't mean to. I know. I don't know your reasons, but it's natural for Kenya to doubt me. I don't care about the Koroto, and if I brought those pills, it was just because I knew they came from here. I just only wanted to verify the reputation of this shop Itachi trusted so much, that's all. This Koroto is not authentic. The recipe is written on blood of us members of the Kodan clan, said Rishi, picking up the bag whose content had been shattered in 1,000 pieces. It's a sort of Kikaginkai. It's nothing so impressive. The main ingredient is an extremely common plant that can be picked on the 3 wolves. Once it gets simulated by the body, the production starts. That's why it's impossible to steal it. It isn't pills, let alone a substance that grows somewhere. I don't know what they say, but those rumors have no root or leaves. Ha 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 ha. Well, untimely, the Koroto doesn't grow anywhere, and the information owned by those who want to get possession of it unfounded. It's common saying that unfounded rumors is something that has no roots nor leaves, isn't it? Rishi explained to me in a hurry, looking at my accosted face. Rishi, please, Sasuke's new here. Don't start with your jokes. That's it. It was a pun. Hey, man, anyway, this Koroto is not authentic. That's why Kenya said you'll never know where the Koroto is. I said, giving a nod of approval with my head. You said you brought it from a drug dealer last night, right? Yes, on a wide, long bridge down the road leading here. It's the bridge of honeysuckle, said Renishi. He drew a pen out of his sleeve of his komoto, and he wrote something on the bag. When you spot a fake, you have to write down the time and place of your purchase. That's for when it handed over to the police. These niggas police, damn. Is Itachi medicine prepared with the Koroto too? Koroto is a hypnotic illusionary medicine, but combined with other medicinal herbs, it becomes a powerful sedative. The plants used for the medicine that are sold in the village can be picked on the 3 wolves. Depending on how they're mixed, you can obtain 300 kinds of different medicines. I pulled Itachi's request out of my pocket and asked him, what did the classification system with symbols and numbers mean? The numbers refer to the medicine. In order to protect the customer's privacy, it's forbidden to write their name down. What about the wording below? It shows intensely the side effects. There are not very effective medicines, and so conturation free. There are middle ranked ones. They don't develop any kind of toxicity if ingested for limited periods of time. In the end, there is this last kind. This is the extremely effective medicines, though they have strong side effects. What kind of disorder do they cause? In Itachi's eye drops case, a temporal loss of sight can occur. I see. That's why I seem completely white. I turned the request upside down. Do you have any idea what does this 7 mean? It looks like he wrote it himself. Riichi's look became illusory. No, I don't know. I couldn't understand what was troubling him, but I decided that changing the subject was the best thing to do. Could you talk to me more about Itachi? Before he opened his mouth, Kenya placed himself in front of me. I'm sorry for before. It's okay. I didn't want to speak ill about Itachi, but there's a lot of people that want to gain possession of the Kuroto, he said roughly. You're right. Don't let your family be underestimated. Your duty is to protect this shop, I said. Kenya nodded heartily. Actually, I don't know much about him. He came and brought his medicine once or twice a year, said Riichi. But after a moment of hesitation, finally he spoke. But he said that if one day his brother had come here, it would have meant that he probably had already died. He added that he would want to live for he would like to live for another while in order to carry out some things. After that, he wouldn't care about anything anymore. For this reason, I prepared a stronger medicine for him, but with a stronger side effects. It provoked a searing pain to the lungs and contaminated the blood of the one who made use of it. Damn, so when Itachi was fighting Sasuke, when he was grabbing his chest and throwing up and shit, that was because of the medicine. Okay, it's all making sense now. See, that's why I like this book, y'all. All the little underlying subtitles and subplots is all written in this motherfucker. Inside me, I thought that it was so typical of Itachi. Everything so monotonously foreseen. Everything so terribly sad. Had he suffered? I didn't know what to answer. He replayed in my mind the scene when he summoned Susanoo. In those throes of pain, he had clenched his chest for a moment. He had coughed blood. Maybe then. Was his health condition already hopeless, I asked? I'm sorry, said Riichi, looking away. I shook my head. You have nothing to feel sorry about. At that point, Kenya spoke up. Itachi was always calm and quiet. He even helped me when those from the Sinnoh clan were annoying me. It also happened that he would stop and sleep in the shrine on the back until the medicine was ready. From time to time, I brought him some seaweed onigiri. At first, whatever thing I asked him, he just remained silent. However, little by little, he began to talking to me. That's why I knew about his brother. One day I tried to ask him what kind of guy you were, and he just burst out laughing happily. I listened to him silently. After a moment of hesitation, he gazed into the distance and told me that you were like me, that you were like me as far as simplicity and honesty. He added, however, that since you were completely unable to show your good intentions, he continuously had to keep his eyes on you to prevent you from getting into trouble. Are you crying, Sasuke? No, it's just my eyes that... Oh, shit. The story of these little two brothers telling their little relationship about Itachi made Sasuke cry. Hell no. They should have animated this. This would have been a good movie. I turned away and changed the subject. What do you tell me about the Sinnoh clan? It's a group of failed ninja. They're the ones who deal with the Hypercurian illusionary medicines after the village declaration of neutrality. The unemployed ninja formed a gang and started acting like criminals. Under their leader's guide, JINRAIDEN, they began selling poor quality stuff, Riichi explained to me. Do they want to take possession of the Kuroto? The Kuroto is a hypnotic illusionary medicine that our father created in order to get rid of the monster named Rowan. JINRAIDEN put his eyes on it. this very powerful hallucinogen, and he's plotting to take possession of it to gain from it. There are numerous shinobi that can adapt to a neutrality state and use that substance to escape from such a harsh reality. I don't give a damn about what will happen to this village when our father died. The villagers changed their attitude towards us. Damn them. They'll pay for it, shouted Kenya, slamming his fist on his palm. Why? They all claimed that our father controlled Rowan, making it attack the village. I had a deja vu moment when Madara that attacks the leaf controlling the Nine-Tails demon. The image of the village destroyed by the tail beast flashed before my eyes. Kenya, there's no need to tell everything to a stranger, Rishi abruptly interrupted him. Kenya bit his lip and glared sternly at his brother. Sasuke, I'm sorry you came here just now, but because of yesterday's big commotion, all of the medicine jars broke, and I need time to prepare medicines. I'd be grateful if you could come another day, said Rishi with a detached expression. He seemed a whole new person. I guess I'll wait. Man, this was a good chapter, dog. I think I'm gonna leave it here, bro. Basically, this chapter, man, we found out this nigga Sasuke done found the brothers who Itachi used to get his medicine from. And Itachi medicine pretty much was something he could use to keep him alive, to keep the conditions of his Mangekyo not fucking with him, you know. And after Itachi died, pretty much, Madara buried this nigga and took the medicine that he had on him out of his pocket and gave it to Sasuke. And Sasuke pretty much wanting to know more about Itachi after having heard the truth from Madara. He want to back up and verify what Madara was saying. He want to meet the guys. He want to go back to the village where he brought his medicines and pretty much see what type of person Itachi really were. If all the shit Madara told him was true. And we pretty much found out in this chapter or this episode, this reading right here, it was true. He met the brothers and he'll tell the brothers about Sasuke and shit. So, well, we all know it's true, of course. But y'all like and subscribe, man. Y'all let me know if y'all want to read another version of Sasuke Resident. Or Sasuke, I forgot what this shit called. Sasuke JINRAIDEN. But y'all let me know y'all like this video, man. Peace. I'll kill you, bro. It's over.
This is what you train for. This is what we do.
That boy think he want to revive. I'm looking at his ass. Damn, you're reloading. Back to back, we jerk. Back to back, Kevin. Back to back, we jerk.